Captain Alex Ryland stared at the glowing blue planet beneath him. Zithera, a world of legends. Scientists across the galaxy spoke of its rare crystals, powerful enough to fuel entire starships. Humanity had waited years for someone brave enough to explore it. And now Alex was that someone. The small shuttle hummed as it descended through Zithera's thick purple clouds. Lightning crackled in the distance, but Alex didn't flinch. He had trained for this. Every human who traveled into unknown space needed courage, intelligence, and calm. That was their greatest strength, the ability to stay calm and think when everything around them was dangerous. As the shuttle touched down on the uneven crystal plains, Alex stepped out. The ground shimmered under his boots, bright and alive like it was breathing. Strange towering structures stretched across the horizon, pyramids of crystal and metal intertwined. He had read about the Zitherans, the dominant species here, but seeing them was different. They were taller than humans, with smooth metallic skin that reflected light, and eyes that glowed faintly with intelligence. A sudden roar echoed across the plains. Alex froze. From behind the crystal towers emerged a massive figure, the Zitheran queen Sarilith. She moved with grace and authority, and the air seemed to shimmer around her. Every Zitheran in the vicinity stopped and bowed instinctively. Alex swallowed. He had heard of her, of course. The queen ruled Zithera with unmatched wisdom and strict laws. Human. Her voice echoed in his mind. Zitherans communicated not only through speech, but also through thoughts. Why have you come to my world? Alex straightened. Humans had a way of facing challenges head-on. I am Captain Alex Ryland of Earth. I come in peace. I wish to study your resources and establish trade for mutual benefit. The queen's eyes glowed brighter. She tilted her head, studying him. You stand on sacred ground, she said. Yet you speak boldly. Do you understand the meaning of respect here? Alex nodded carefully. I mean no disrespect, Your Majesty. I only seek understanding. I come with curiosity and willingness to help, if I may. Sarilith regarded him silently for several long moments. Then almost casually she raised a hand. Suddenly Alex's shuttle doors opened, and a force field prevented him from leaving. The queen's glare was enough to make anyone pause. You will remain here, she declared. Until I understand your species better, you may not leave. Alex's heart raced. This was not what he expected. I only came to explore, he said. But he knew arguing would accomplish nothing. Zitherans respected courage, intelligence, and calm. Panic would be a mistake. The queen gestured, and a small group of Zitheran guards led him to the floating palace at the heart of the city. It hovered above the ground, suspended by energy crystals pulsing with power. As he walked, Alex noticed the beauty and danger around him. Every surface shimmered with light, and the air was thick with the hum of energy. Once inside the palace, Alex was shown a room with walls of transparent crystal. The city below looked like a river of lights. The queen appeared before him again, her form taller than any human could be, her presence commanding. You are clever, she said. I have heard of humans' unpredictable nature. Some say you adapt faster than any known species. Others say you are reckless. Which are you, I wonder? Alex smiled politely. I hope I am adaptable, Your Majesty. I try to think carefully, but I take risks only when necessary. The queen studied him, then moved closer. Alex could feel her mental presence probing gently, almost like a test. You are alone here, yet you face the unknown without fear. That is unusual. I must observe you carefully. Days passed. Alex was not imprisoned in the traditional sense, but he was not free either. The queen's guards watched him, curious about human habits. Alex explored the palace, taking note of everything. He observed Zitheran technology, their communication methods, and even their interactions with one another. He noticed something interesting. While Zitherans were highly intelligent, their decisions were guided by rigid logic. They lacked the flexibility humans had. One evening, while walking through a crystal hallway, Alex overheard a Zitheran scientist arguing with a guard. If we do not stabilize the energy grid, the palace will collapse, the scientist said. The guard hesitated. Our protocols forbid improvisation. We must follow the rules. Alex stepped forward. Excuse me, he said. Maybe I can help. Humans sometimes solve problems differently. We combine what we know with what we see, and we're not afraid to try new approaches. The scientist looked at him surprised, and the guard stiffened. The queen appeared, having heard everything. She raised an eyebrow. Human, you speak boldly. Alex bowed slightly. I only wish to help, your majesty. I mean, no offense. The Queen said nothing but allowed him to approach the grid controls. Using a combination of his knowledge of basic physics, intuition, and observation, Alex devised a solution that stabilized the system. Lights flickered and then shone steadily. Energy flowed smoothly throughout the palace. The scientist whispered, It worked. How did you know? Alex shrugged. Humans look for patterns and connections that others might miss. Sometimes trying a different angle makes all the difference, the Queen observed silently from above. For the first time, she seemed genuinely impressed. Humans were strange, unpredictable, and capable. And this one, Alex, had proven himself in ways that no Zitharan had anticipated. But the Queen's expression hardened again. Do not think your success frees you, she said. You remain under observation. Humans' nature is mysterious. I must understand your species fully before allowing you to leave Zithara. Alex nodded. I understand, your majesty. I will cooperate fully. That night, Alex looked out over the glowing city. The palace floated above the plains, shimmering in the purple twilight. He knew his mission had become something bigger than collecting resources. It was now about proving humanity's worth, showing that humans, though young in the galaxy, could solve problems, adapt, and inspire even the most advanced civilizations. And somehow, he knew this was only the beginning. Above him, the stars of Zithara's twin moons sparkled. Alex smiled. Humans had a gift, the ability to see opportunity where others saw limits. And on Zithara, he would need every bit of it. The Queen watched silently from her tower. Somewhere deep inside, a question formed. Could these unpredictable, fragile creatures really be allies? Or were they a danger she could not yet measure? Either way, the first step had been taken. Alex Ryland, human, had arrived, and the galaxy would notice. The morning light spilled through the crystal walls of the palace, painting the floors in shades of violet and silver. Captain Alex Ryland stretched, feeling the strange thin air of Zithara fill his lungs. Every day here was a lesson in observation. Every movement, every word, every decision of the Zitharans around him offered insight. Today, however, promised something different. The Queen Seralith had summoned him. Her chambers were high in the central tower, overlooking the entire city. As he entered, Alex saw the Queen seated on a throne carved from glowing crystals. Her form shimmered slightly, reflecting the light around her, giving her an almost ethereal presence. Human, she began, her voice calm but firm. You impressed me yesterday. You see patterns we cannot. You act where others hesitate, yet I still do not fully trust you. Alex bowed slightly. I understand, your majesty. Trust is earned, and I am willing to prove myself. Seralith's eyes glowed faintly. Prove yourself? Then you shall face a challenge. Before Alex could respond, a siren blared throughout the palace. Lights flickered and the hum of energy grids began to stutter. A scientist rushed forward, panic in his eyes. The energy matrix of the palace is unstable. If we do not act quickly, the structure will collapse. Alex's pulse quickened. He had seen systems fail before, but nothing like this. The palace floated above the plains by precise energy control. A collapse could be catastrophic. The Queen rose, walking toward him. You will assist in this matter. Observe carefully, then act, Alex nodded. He followed the scientist into the control chamber, a massive room filled with glowing panels and holographic displays. Zitharans worked in perfect synchronization, their movements precise but rigid. Alex noticed immediately that their approach was entirely formulaic. They were using standard protocols, repeating the same calculations they had been trained to follow. Human, the chief scientist said, we cannot stabilize the matrix. The algorithm cannot adjust to these fluctuations. You may try if you wish. Alex studied the displays. The energy pulses were irregular, unpredictable. Any attempt to stabilize them using conventional Zitharan logic would fail. He thought of how humans handled similar problems: improvisation, creativity, observation, and rapid testing. He spoke calmly. Let's try something different. Combine the energy outputs of adjacent nodes in a staggered pattern. Observe the resonance between them and adjust manually. The scientist frowned. That is unorthodox. It may risk further instability. Alex nodded. Yes, but if done carefully, it can work. Humans often succeed by seeing connections others overlook. He worked quickly, guiding the Zitharans step by step. At first they resisted following their rigid protocols, but gradually they began to trust his instructions. Alex's calculations were not from memory, but from instinct, observation, and pattern recognition. He adjusted energy flows, realigned resonators, and monitored the pulses. Slowly, the hum of the floating palace of Zithera had never been so tense. Captain Alex Ryland paced the crystal corridors, listening to the low hum of the energy grids. Something was wrong. He could feel it in the vibrations of the floors, the slight flicker of the lights, and the nervous movements of the Zitheran scientists. The Queen, Sarilith, appeared silently beside him, her form glowing softly in the dim light. "Human," she said, "you sense it too. A rogue faction has infiltrated the palace." Alex turned to her, eyes alert. "Rogue faction? How many? What are their goals?" "They seek control of our energy core," she replied. "If they succeed, the entire palace could collapse and Zithera itself may fall into chaos." Alex's mind raced. Humans had faced threats before, but nothing quite like this. He was just one man, yet he could offer something Zitherans could not: unpredictability. "Then we must act," he said. "We need a plan that they will not anticipate. Something outside their logic." Sarilith studied him closely. "You speak boldly. Zitherans are trained to follow protocol. Your human intuition, it may be the advantage we need." The two moved quickly through the palace, observing the security systems. Zitherans relied on rigid patterns, patrols, sensors, energy locks. The rogue faction, however, was clever. They had already bypassed several layers of defense. Alex considered the problem. If they predict your moves, they will always be one step ahead. But if we use unexpected methods they cannot calculate, we can trap them. Sarilith tilted her head. "Explain." Alex pointed to the energy control panels. "We can create false patterns in the energy flows. They will think the palace is unguarded or unstable in certain areas, and they will move into our trap." The Queen's eyes widened slightly. Zitherans never relied on deception. "Clever," she said. "I will follow your lead. But know this, failure is not an option." Working together, Alex and Sarilith devised a plan. Humans excelled at improvisation, and Zitherans excelled at precision. By combining these strengths, they created a system that the rogue faction could not predict. Alex moved between panels, rerouting energy, while Sarilith controlled palace defenses, opening and closing gates with perfect timing. Hours passed. The rogue faction moved through the palace, unaware of the trap. Alex's intuition guided each adjustment. He predicted their path, setting subtle obstacles that forced them toward Sarilith's waiting forces. Finally, the intruders entered the central chamber, confident they had outsmarted the palace. But Alex had anticipated their exact moves. Energy gates slammed shut around them, isolating the group. The rogue Zitherans realized too late that they had walked into a trap. Sarilith's voice echoed. "You underestimated humans." The faction surrendered. The palace was secure. Zitheran guards moved in to detain the intruders, their eyes wide with respect for the human who had outsmarted them. Alex exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. "That should hold them. For now." The Queen stepped closer. "Human, your methods are strange yet effective. You do not think like a Zitheran, and that is why you succeed. Your species' strength is your adaptability." Alex smiled faintly. "We learn quickly. We observe, we improvise, and we work together. That's what humans do best." Sarilith's expression softened slightly. "Perhaps your species is not as fragile as I thought. Perhaps humans are worthy allies." For the next several days, Alex worked with the Queen and her trusted advisors to strengthen the palace's defenses. He introduced concepts unfamiliar to Zitherans: redundancy systems, alternative energy paths, and quick response contingencies. Each suggestion was met with initial skepticism, but proved remarkably effective. During this time, Alex also studied Zitheran behavior. He noticed that their reliance on strict protocols made them predictable. Humans, on the other hand, thrived on flexibility. This unpredictability could be a powerful advantage if used wisely. One afternoon, Alex encountered a young Zitheran scientist named Vera, struggling with a containment system for a new energy crystal. The crystal emitted unstable pulses, threatening to overload the system. "May I try?" Alex asked. Vera hesitated. "It is unconventional for a human to interfere, but you have proven yourself capable." Alex examined the system. "If we stagger the pulse input and allow the crystal to absorb energy gradually, it will stabilize. Sudden bursts are dangerous. Farah followed his instructions. Slowly, the crystal steadied, its glow becoming even and controlled. A faint cheer escaped from nearby assistants. Sarilith appeared beside Alex, watching silently. Again, human, you have succeeded where our protocols failed. Your intuition surpasses our calculations. Alex shrugged. Sometimes the solution is not in following rules, but in observing and adapting. That evening, the Queen summoned Alex to her private chambers. The floating platform overlooked the city, lights twinkling like stars below. You are impressive, she said. Yet you are alone in a strange world. You face challenges with courage and creativity. Why do humans endure where others fail? Alex thought for a moment. We endure because we care. We take risks for others. We learn from mistakes. And we never stop trying. Sarilith's gaze lingered on him. Perhaps that is why humans are unique. You inspire confidence even when others would falter. That quality is rare in the galaxy. Days later, Alex faced another test. A subtle fluctuation in the palace's energy grid threatened to shut down the floating platforms. Zithran engineers calculated tirelessly, yet the numbers did not add up. Alex stepped forward. We are approaching this incorrectly, he said. The fluctuation is not a failure. It is a pattern. If we adjust the energy nodes in sequence and monitor the feedback in real time, we can stabilize the grid. The engineers hesitated but allowed him to act. Alex moved swiftly, manually adjusting nodes, rerouting energy, and observing the system's response. The grid stabilized, the floating platform steady once more. Sarilith appeared, her expression a mixture of admiration and caution. Human, your solutions are unpredictable yet effective. Zitharans rely on logic and rules, yet you succeed by seeing possibilities we overlook. I begin to understand. Humans may be vital to Zithara's survival. Alex nodded. I am honored, Your Majesty. I only wish to help. For the first time, Sarilith smiled faintly. Perhaps this partnership is only the beginning. Humans and Zitharans together, we may achieve far more than either could alone. That night, Alex looked out over the city, the lights shimmering like rivers of crystal. He realized that Zithara was not just a mission, it was a test. The Queen was testing him, yes, but she was also learning. She was learning that humans were different, unpredictable, and capable of inspiring change. And Alex understood something as well. He was no longer just a visitor. He was part of a partnership that could reshape the fate of Zithara itself. The stars above the floating city shone brighter than ever. In that moment, Alex felt a quiet determination. Humans had a gift, the ability to adapt, innovate, and lead when logic alone could not. Zithara had just witnessed the first proof of it, and the adventure was only beginning. The palace floated silently above the glowing plains, but Captain Alex Ryland felt tension in the air. For days, the Queen and her council had celebrated their victory against the rogue faction, yet Alex knew the danger was not over. Zithara was too advanced, too rich in resources, and too powerful to remain unchallenged. Somewhere, trouble was always waiting. Late one evening, Alex was summoned to the Queen's council chamber. The crystal walls glowed faintly, casting long shadows. Queen Sarilith stood at the center, her metallic skin reflecting the lights of the city. Human, she said, her voice low and serious. We face a new crisis. The rogue faction has not disappeared. They have taken shelter deep in the mountains, near the heart of our energy veins. They intend to disrupt the core and bring the palace down. Alex frowned. If they succeed, the palace will crash. The entire city could be destroyed, the Queen nodded. Our protocols are clear. We must launch a direct assault, but I fear they expect this. They know our methods, Alex's eyes narrowed. Then we can't fight them their way. We have to fight them our way. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. To them, logic was sacred. To stray from protocol was dangerous. Yet Sarilith raised her hand, silencing their doubts. Explain, she commanded. Alex leaned over the glowing table map. They know your tactics. They know your order, your discipline. But humans, we don't always play by the rules. We improvise, we adapt, and we use the unexpected. If we strike where they don't expect us, we can outsmart them. The Queen studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Very well, human. Lead the operation. I will accompany you. Let us see if your unpredictability can truly defeat them. The next morning, Alex and a team of Zitharan warriors traveled in sleek transport spheres toward the mountains. Sarilith stood tall beside him, her presence both commanding and unyielding. The mountains loomed ahead, jagged and glowing faintly with the energy veins running beneath them. Alex examined the terrain. Scytheran logic would demand a direct approach, but that was exactly what the rogue faction expected. "We won't go through the front," Alex said. "That's what they're waiting for. Instead, we'll come from the caves beneath. They won't expect a human plan." The warriors hesitated, but Seralith's eyes glowed with resolve. "Follow him. This is his test as much as ours." The caves were dark and narrow, lined with crystals that pulsed like living veins. The palace of Zithra glowed brighter than ever, but Queen Seralith felt no peace. Even though the human, Captain Alex Ryland, had helped save the energy core, whispers of doubt still filled the council halls. Some elders believed the queen had relied too much on an outsider. Others feared that Alex's growing influence would upset the old balance of power. One morning, Seralith summoned Alex to her private chamber. The air was heavy and the queen's eyes carried both determination and sadness. "Human," she said softly, "the council has demanded something of me. They believe my judgment has been clouded by you. They say I must prove my worth as queen or step down." Alex frowned. "Prove your worth? Haven't you already? You saved your people time and time again." Seralith shook her head. "Logic rules Zithra. The council has invoked the trial of leadership. I must face it or risk losing my crown. And Alex, they forbid you from helping." Alex's chest tightened. "What kind of trial?" "The trial has 3 parts," Seralith explained. "Wisdom, strength, and sacrifice. Each ruler must face it once in their reign, but never under such suspicion. The elders hope I will fail." Her voice hardened. "If I fall, the palace will break apart. Our enemies will rise. And you, human, will be cast out, or worse." Alex stepped closer, meeting her glowing eyes. "Then you can't fail. You've led your people with courage and heart. That's more than wisdom or strength. I believe in you." For a moment, the queen almost smiled. "Your words are strange, yet they give me comfort. Very well, I will face the trial. But promise me this, Alex, do not interfere no matter what happens." Alex hesitated, then nodded. But deep inside, he knew he could never stand by and do nothing if her life was truly in danger. The first trial, Wisdom. The next day, the palace council gathered in the Grand Hall of Echoes. The ceiling glowed like a sky of living stars, and the floor shimmered with the patterns of ancient Zitharan law. The people filled the galleries, waiting to see their queen tested. The elder high speaker rose. His voice rang clear. "Queen Seralith, you are accused of allowing chaos into our order. To prove your worth, you must pass the trial of leadership. Begin with wisdom." A set of glowing crystals floated into the air, rearranging themselves into a puzzle of shifting lights. The challenge was ancient, solving the labyrinth of thought. The queen stepped forward. Her eyes glowed brighter as she moved the pieces with her mind. The puzzle twisted and resisted, creating false patterns meant to confuse. The council watched closely, eager for any mistake. Alex sat among the audience, tense. He saw that the puzzle was not just about logic. It was about instinct, about trusting patterns unseen. He wanted to shout advice, but he remembered his promise. Seralith hesitated once, her hands trembling. The crowd whispered. Then she closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and made her choice. The puzzle snapped into place, glowing with harmony. The hall erupted in gasps. She had passed. The high speaker scowled but nodded. Wisdom. Proven. The second trial. Strength. For the next test, the council led Seralith to the arena at the palace's edge. The crowd filled the stands, waiting in silence. In the center stood a towering beast, a construct of crystal and metal designed to test the strength of a ruler. Its body glowed with dangerous energy, and its roar shook the ground. Alex's fists clenched. "That thing could kill her," he muttered. The elder speaker declared, "The queen must defeat the beast without aid. Only then will her strength be worthy." Seralith raised her staff, her silver form gleaming under the twin suns. The beast lunged forward, striking with massive claws. She dodged swiftly, but each blow left cracks in the arena floor. The fight was fierce. Seralith used her agility and her energy strikes to weaken the beast, but it was relentless. The council whispered among themselves, hoping for her fall. Alex could barely sit still. Every instinct screamed at him to jump in, to help. But he remembered her command. At last, the beast pinned her to the ground, its claws pressing close. The crowd gasped. Alex half rose from his seat, but Seralith's eyes flashed with fire. She unleashed a surge of energy, blasting the beast backward. With one final strike, she shattered its crystal heart. The construct fell into silence and the arena shook with cheers. The high speaker's face was pale. Strength. Proven. The third trial, sacrifice, now came the hardest part. The council brought forth the last challenge, a sphere of energy glowing dangerously, containing the essence of Zithra's life force. The elder speaker spoke coldly. The queen must give part of herself to stabilize this sphere. Her body, her essence, it will weaken her forever. If she fails, she dies. If she refuses, she is unworthy. Alex's heart sank. He wanted to protest, but he knew it was useless. This was their law. Sarilith stepped forward without hesitation. She placed her hand on the sphere. Instantly, pain shot through her body and her silver skin cracked with light. The people gasped in horror. Alex couldn't hold back anymore. He shouted, "Stop this! You're killing her!" But the elders ignored him. The trial had begun. Sarilith's strength faltered. Her body shook, her light dimmed. Alex's mind raced. She was giving everything, but it wasn't enough. If she continued, she would die. Against every rule, Alex stood up and shouted, "Sarilith! Remember what makes you strong. It's not sacrifice alone, it's the bond you share with your people. Let them share it with you." The hall fell silent. The council gasped in outrage, but Sarilith's eyes widened. His words struck something deep. With trembling hands, she raised her voice. "My people, lend me your strength. Together we are one." For the first time in history, the crowd responded. Thousands raised their hands, pouring their energy toward her. The sphere glowed brighter, balanced not by one but by many. The light stabilized and Sarilith collapsed to her knees, alive though weakened. The hall thundered with cheers. The people cried out her name. Even the elders could not deny what they had seen. The high speaker bowed his head. Sacrifice. Proven. After the trial later, in her private chamber, Sarilith lay weak but alive. Alex stayed by her side, refusing to leave. "You broke the rules," she whispered, her voice faint. "You interfered." Alex looked down, ashamed. "I couldn't watch you die. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken, but your people needed to see the truth. You don't stand alone. They love you. They trust you. That's real leadership." For a long moment, Sarilith said nothing. Then a small smile touched her lips. "Strange human, you disobeyed, yet you saved me. Perhaps that is your way, defying the impossible." She reached for his hand, her grip weak but warm. "Together we changed the trial forever. No queen has ever shared the burden with her people. Now they see me. And they see you." Alex nodded. "And they'll never forget it." The queen's eyes glowed softly. "Nor will I. Human, you may be fragile, but your courage gives me strength. With you beside me, I believe even the stars can be tamed." Outside, the palace bells rang, announcing her victory. The queen had passed the trial, not by following old laws, but by rewriting them with hope, unity, and a touch of human defiance. The bells of Zithra had rung for days, celebrating Queen Sarilith's victory in the trial of leadership. Her people now trusted her more than ever, for she had shown that strength was not only about power, but about unity. Yet in the heart of Captain Alex Ryland, peace did not last. He had seen enough of the galaxy to know that danger never stayed far away. He was right. A new threat one evening, the skies above Zithra turned dark. The twin suns faded behind a sudden shadow and alarm spread through the palace. Alex rushed to the balcony, his eyes narrowing. A massive fleet of unknown ships hung in the sky. Their black hulls absorbed light, and their jagged forms looked less like machines and more like predators. Sarilith joined him, her silver skin glowing faintly. Her voice was sharp. "It is the Vorak, ancient enemies of the stars. They devour worlds and leave nothing behind. We thought they were myths." Alex's jaw tightened. "They're real enough now. And they're here." The Vorak ships began to descend, their weapons glowing with cruel red light. Panic spread through the city below. The council rushed into the queen's chamber. One elder shouted, "We must surrender." "Their numbers are too great." Another said, "No, we must flee into the stars." But Sarilith raised her hand, silencing them. Her voice rang with calm strength. "No, we will not run. We will not bow. This is our home. We fight." Alex stepped forward. "Then let me help. My people have fought enemies like these before. We may be weaker, but we've learned how to survive impossible odds. Let's combine our ways, your power and our creativity. The queen looked at him, her eyes glowing with trust. Together then, preparing for battle, the palace turned into a war council. Maps and projections filled the halls, glowing across crystal walls. The Zitherans prepared their fleet, sleek ships powered by energy veins, while Alex offered tactics no one else dared to imagine. "We can't face them head-on," Alex explained. "They're stronger, bigger, and more ruthless. But they don't know us. That's our advantage," he pointed at the map. "We'll set traps in the energy veins, lure their ships into narrow channels where their numbers won't matter, and when they least expect it, we strike from below." The Zitheran commanders murmured with doubt, but Sarilith stood firm. "The human has shown us victory before. We follow his plan." The people of Zithera worked through the night. Energy cannons were built into the mountains,